All right, hello everybody, and finally welcome to episode 3 of the Adult Table. Myself, Trav, here with Joey Fats, of course. Audio is working this week for me. Everything is working. Little technical issues on both our ends leading into this, hence the about 45-minute delay here. But we're good to go.
That we are.
So yeah, I mean, we missed last week. Had a few interesting things happen, which isn't a bad thing. That way we can catch up, and it's not like it adds too much to the table for what we're talking about this week. If anything, it kind of rounds everything out. I think in a bit.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it a little easier. It is good. Uh, but yeah, no, we had the day off last week. That was kind of my fault. I was pressed for time last week, and the the technical difficulties, which seem to be mounting every week, they seem to be going the opposite direction. Like usually, you do a couple shows and things get smoother. This seems to be going the other way. And it's like I do a podcast every week and I never have issues, and then all of a sudden, the last 3 weeks, it's been like one thing after another. So
Yeah, like the first week, that was all on me. Second week, everything seemed to go fine. Although I might have to look into the uh, like outputs stuff on stream, like after I review it afterwards. There's really not much I can do with it live unless somebody's commenting on it in the comments and says, "Hey, you need to turn up blah blah blah," or "We can't hear so and so." That's kind of
right,
the only way I can tell.
and those are the little things.
But yeah, it'll be great once we get real famous with this, and then we can afford to hire Jamie from Joe Rogan and
Yeah, that'd be
handle
nice.
everything.
That way we can have so right, we need tech people. Like we're just the on-air talent, right? Like we're not here to
Yeah,
turn knobs and dials and play with cables. No, we're just here to talk shit and do it well.
yeah. I might have set everything up the way I have it currently on my own and stream solo for the most part and handle all that. But yeah, there's a lot more moving pieces when somebody else is involved. When sharing a screen. In this case, the first week we did it via Zoom. Turns out didn't have to do it that way at all. But yeah, learning experience. But we'll get there. Like this week, for some reason, wasn't able to use cue up music for the intro. Don't know why.
I was wondering where the music was. I was waiting for that jaunty little tune to start slapping for me, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, no, it's on my soundboard. It's not registering. I tried to go in and troubleshoot it just before we started, It's just like, fuck it, nope, just go into it. I'll just start the stream so I can get the link out there. And
this is one of my
Yeah.
biggest issues with software, right? Is like software, if it doesn't work, it's not like, oh, it's broken. Like like hardware. Like if you have a fucking direct input to something and it's like, I push play on this tape, it plays music. Very simple.
yeah,
Software does not work like that. Software's like, I don't feel like fucking working today.
Analog's way easier to troubleshoot.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of it,
but also when you have issues with analog, it's usually catastrophic.
Oh yeah, you have to replace like the whole component or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
so it's like,
or you lose everything. It's smoke starts coming out of it, and
and then you're like, oh shit, now I got to go buy a whole new insert whatever thing here.
Exactly.
But I digest. We could sit here and bitch about our tech issues doing a podcast all we want, but
that would take up like a whole episode, and then
I was gonna say we could do like a full season on that.
Yeah, Jesus, maybe that'll be like a year-end review.
Yeah, all the things we've learned about what not to do when doing a podcast.
Yeah, and how we'll continue to fuck it up next week.
Absolutely, through no fault of our own. Honestly enough,
we're trying. Damn it, we're trying.
We're trying and we're succeeding. That's all that matters.
A couple of middle-class, blue-collar schlubs. Just like our.
I thought you were going to call us sluts. I was all for it.
I mean,
I thought that's where you were going with it.
Those days are kind of behind me, but
I know.
But
same.
Yeah, that's we're doing our best. God damn it.
See, indeed we are.
So,
let's do our best with the adult table topics tonight because I actually like what we've got set up here tonight.
So do I. Pretty much all your suggestions as well, which I like because I'm busy during the day, and you're like, hey, how about? I'm like, yep, love it.
Yeah,
I didn't have to. Think
Sounds
about
good.
It.
It's like I have a real job, so I can't really think about this shit while I'm at work, but you can, so you get on it. Okay, easy peasy.
Hey, it works. I think our last episode was good. Our conversations went well. Good back and forth. So
yeah, and if we ever run out of material or whatever, we could always do a flat Earth show. I know you very much love that.
Well, once we can facilitate call-ins, that's when we're going to be doing that. And topics.
Travis has a very specific audience in mind for that one.
Oh yeah, it was my group chat with the boys was blowing up because a few of them were, bringing this up, with this particular person because they got involved in the comments as well, and they're like, "Why are you friends with this person still, Trav? Is it just to like dunk on her?"
It's just to see the train wreck.
I was like, "Yeah, at this point it is." And
I was lurking in the comments. I was like, do I want to jump in? I think, and I won't dive too much into it, but the flat Earth crowd, man, I will just say that is an interesting bunch.
It's a different breed.
Yeah, because there is some they are like the Mary Lou Rettins of mental gymnastics. Because that is some of the things I saw, and I'm like, wait, do they actually think that? Like they think that's real? Like I'm like, oh my god, they actually think that's real.
Now, there's one guy who is in like her comments fairly often. I don't believe I saw him in this particular case, but he, months ago, he reached out and DM'd me, and he's like, "Hey man, I actually agree with you. I'm just basically trolling her without her knowing it. Like I'm making it seem like I am on her side." And pumping her tires up in the comments. He's like, but honestly, no, this is ridiculous. I'm just fucking with her.
That is fucking great.
I was like, all right, tip of the cap to you.
Yep. That's one of those. That's when you've got it good. You're like, oh, okay, never mind.
But no, it's just truly bizarre, and some of the things they're saying too in response to like just rational, comments are like, well, oh, you must still wear 4 masks and get all your boosters, and it's like, actually, no.
It's like, no, those are not mutually exclusive, actually.
No, they're not. They think it is. Oh, well, you think that prove the Earth is round. I don't fucking have to. Science already has.
I was going to say, no, I'm pretty sure it's up to you to prove to me it's flat, and you're not doing a very good job.
Oh, well, how come if I have a really, good telescope, and on a clear day, if I go to the ocean, I can see well past what I should for when the curvature, should start being taken into account, and I can no longer see that far. It's because you just described why. you have a powerful telescope that gives you
Yeah.
better vision than the naked eye, and it's on a very clear day.
Yeah.
You
And
just
I don't
explained it.
I don't know if you know this, but like the curvature of the Earth drops off like millimeters at a time. It's not like it's like,
You can't
it's like
simply, unless
it's
you
not like
are
it's
at a
not
higher
like
altitude.
10 feet per mile that the Earth curves away from you, and you're like, oh boy.
The higher the altitude you are at, the more it becomes apparent, because it makes sense. You're getting further away from the ground. Therefore, you
Yeah.
should be able to see more.
I mean, I've definitely been in planes and been able to see like the curvature of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's in a commercial flight. You know, it wasn't anything special.
Right.
Just happened to be on a nice day, at 30,000 feet.
I last year when I went to and from Kansas City, I could see it when it was during the day.
Yeah.
And it was clear. I'm like, I don't know what these. It's a
I know.
different level of.
It's like, and I just don't understand.
Not trusting the government, but
yeah, I mean,
what
listen.
end? Like, what is the benefit of them hiding? And not just this would be, pun intended, global conspiracy amongst all government systems to keep this under, like, shit, the Earth really is flat. Why? Well, because it would destroy our way of life. Like, everything.
Yeah, what would it even affect? Like, if we found out the Earth was flat, what would even change?
There's entitlement to be, vehemently right on it. I mean, if
I guess so.
Right,
it's such a weird hill to die on.
it's the strangest one.
And
it's such an antiquated thing. It was just proven, like, before or during, like, maybe I think it was before, but like Renaissance times, even before that. Like,
I was gonna say, it wasn't like didn't like predates like Galileo, right?
I mean, I think he was a part of.
Was he the one that figured it out? I forget.
I forget.
I haven't. It's been a long time since I've had to go back and look at like my medieval Renaissance scientists.
Because we shouldn't have to go back that far to be like, yeah, the Earth is round. What are you talking about? It's flat. Like, oh well, look at the fucking logo for the UN. It's a flat Earth. I'm like, that's the top. Yeah, that's a flattened out version of the globe that's been used for a long time.
Apparently, the ancient Greeks figured it out.
Yeah.
According to the old Google, or Aristotle was among the first to recognize it. Okay. So that's like
thousands of
300 years before Jesus.
Yeah, BC.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, it definitely is. Well, why? Oh, if I told you, they'd come after me. Like, no, why?
Because the Pope in 384 BC said it was flat.
The Pope.
And
before the Catholic Church.
And now that's how we do things now. Yeah. He wasn't the Pope yet. They didn't have that yet, but he was gonna be.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent to. It's like, listen, man, I'm all for not trusting the government. Like, when it comes to not trusting the government, like, I'm one step above like Dale Gribble. So
yeah,
like, that's, and I think that should be everybody. But why in God's name would they hide that from us? And why would they keep it from us? And why would they just to be like ha ha ha, like, we know something you don't.
Well,
like, you're stupid.
Wait, the same kind of or similar argument as to why, even though it's coming out now that the government is admitting that like these UAPs exist, UFOs, however you want to refer to them as, and we don't fully understand them, but we're saying, hey, they're a thing. And it's like that nobody really batted an eye, but the theory behind always hiding alien existence from is like, well, it would shatter everyone's view on humanity because that would destroy all organized religions and blah blah blah. Which, hey, I'm not against at all.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm so for
flat Earth thing. I don't understand how that
religion just going bye bye.
Yeah, the flat Earth thing. I don't understand the benefit of keeping that a secret from anybody. Like, what would it do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's even like you said, like the alien thing. Like the FBI basically came out, was like, yeah, aliens pretty much exist. We've known about it for a long time. And the mainstream media was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Anyway, did you see what Trump put on Twitter yesterday?
Yeah,
what a fucking idiot! Like, can you believe people vote for this guy? Like, oh my god,
shit,
COVID.
He's working at McDonald's for a day. Whoa, what an asshole!
Fucking dick.
But yeah, forget about Bibble, who's here to give us the cure for AIDS.
Yeah. Right? No shit. It's like, we can cure all diseases and give you everlasting peace, and you'll never have to work anymore because no one will require money because you'll have a perfect society. And we're all like,
Yeah,
Fuck that.
but it looks like Trump's gonna win, so fuck you.
But then, yeah, Trump will just find a way to ruin it. And it's like, nah, man, like, this is like, it's like that, it'd be like that Rick and Morty episode when the dinosaurs come back to Earth and Grant, like, ever loving, like, all, like, loving eternity. Like, everybody's just, like, forever, like,
Yeah, it's a utopia.
utopian. And then all the humans are just like, well, this sucks. Like, now what do we do? Like, I'm bored. We don't have any wars to start. Like,
Yeah, this is incredibly boring.
it's like, what do you mean? All I got to do is sit around and like make birdhouses all day? Fuck you.
Jesus, no. I need more than that.
Yeah, and then the angry comet comes and just tries to annihilate the dinosaurs, which is fucking hilarious. But great show. Was a great show.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, we don't have to get into that, but it's kind of shitty what happened to Royal in there.
I would like to do a Rick and Morty episode one of these nights on this show. That'd be fun.
You know, I haven't really watched any of the new ones since.
I'm like working through it a little bit in my spare time, but yeah, I think I'm up to. Shit, I'd have to check. I think I'm at like the beginning of season 7 because I'm starting to see stuff that I've never seen before.
Okay.
So I know I'm into the new ones, which I guess is good because I didn't notice the voice change, or it didn't affect me to the point where I was like, "Oh no, this is different."
It's pretty close.
It is pretty close. I mean, you can definitely tell it's different, but it's not like.
Well, because
oh my god,
just the voices of the two main characters, and a bunch of side ones too. He was also a major contributor in the writing room there. So.
Well, that's the thing. You can definitely tell like the jokes and the humor are different. It's definitely not like it's got its rather than like the whole season being good. I feel like there was like 1 or 2 episodes that were good, and the other ones were just okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or like meh, you know what I mean? But you could definitely tell the difference. And when you notice the difference, then you can't unnotice it. That's when it gets ruined. But yeah. I digress. We'll do a Rick and Morty show some other time.
I'll catch up because I did drop off for a bit. There was a time before all of this other stuff happened where they were taking considerable amounts of time in between seasons. So I did see the one that took a while for it, and it did eventually come out. And then I just kind of dropped off.
Yeah, because once a show takes too long to like drop new material, like if you're not a diehard fan, you're not watching it anymore.
And I get it. It's
like you forget about it, and you're like, oh yeah, whatever.
Production time on anything animated, unless you're South Park right now, is ridiculous.
Which even South Park right now is taking their sweet time. Like usually we're like like in the middle of a new season right about now.
Well, the way they restructured everything after they signed that big deal, it makes it easier for them to do other things. Those other things got sidelined because
like
of
the
COVID.
Specials and stuff. Which did you get a chance to watch the Ozempic one, by the way?
I need to. I'm
oh, okay, yeah, you got to watch that. It's a good one.
Yeah,
but like we haven't had a new special since the Ozempic one, which was back in the spring. And usually, like the actual season will start in like mid-late September, and they do like 10 weeks, and then that's it.
Yeah, because the way it used to be was they would split up the season between like
spring and fall.
Yeah,
now which I loved. That was great because we get like 20, 22 episodes out of a season.
Mm-hmm. It gives them a break in between too to catch up on, other current events that they can then
load up on new material. Which I mean, granted, the way they do it, it only takes a week anyway. So
yeah,
but
shit, they had to change the election one like the night before or the day.
Yeah, the Obama one when Trump won against Hillary. Because nobody thought Hillary was going to lose, and then she did. I remember that. That was a really good episode.
And that changed the trajectory for the show for the next.
Yeah, because then they went the Trump Garrison route.
Yeah,
which was hilarious.
Because they were like, "Well, shit. Oh, we kind of jokingly made Garrison into Trump, not thinking that he would win. And
now we got to roll with it.
We kind of painted ourselves into a corner, but some really good stuff there.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think they released a press release. They said they were going to wait until after the election this year to release the new season, I think.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to. I don't think they wanted to end up because they were like, nah, we don't want to do like Trump jokes. Like that shit's like played out and watered down, and everybody does it, and it's all anybody else does. Like it's just such low hanging fruit.
It's hack now, basically.
Yeah, and it's just that's what they were like. They're like, yeah, nah, like, and they're like, I don't want to say like they're too cool for it, but like they're definitely like way above it.
Certainly.
And they were the first ones to do it and do it good, so they've already put their flag in the Trump joke.
Yeah, I feel like
kind of on the top of that mountain because
I feel like they hey, you know what? We did enough of it. There's other stuff we can talk about and make fun of. There's plenty more out there, so
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they've gone in some different directions.
Way too much stuff, way too much material to just be hung up on one thing. But
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've been hung up on, excellent segue again, uh, over this past week is that complete and utter implosion of Kamala Harris on television via Fox News interview.
the Bill Barr interview.
Now, I didn't watch it live. I forgot when it was airing, and I was getting, in different chat groups I'm in, it's popping up, and they're like, "Oh my God, what? Oh shit!" So I did catch up on it later, and subsequently did watch a couple analysis videos on it, and dearie me, oh, she is dead in the water right now. I don't know how other way to say it in more in a polite way than that. It's and anybody that can't see it is just got full blown TDS at this point, and they don't actually care about what policies are going to be enacted and the betterment of the country, or making it worse if she were to win the election. They just don't like him, and that's fine. You don't have to. But you obviously don't care about America either. If you can't,
Yeah, you're not electing him to be your the head of your church retreat group. Like, he's not taking your kids out,
Yeah.
on vacation. Which, at the end of the day, I would still be fine with it. It's Uncle Donnie, bro. He's probably gonna bring him to a banging ass golf course and be like, "Yeah, let's go play some golf, guys." Like, want to go on a boat? Like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I don't know. He's rich, so he'd probably do some pretty cool shit.
Be a good time.
That being said, yeah, dude, it was, holy shit, it was rough. So I did get a chance to watch most of it live. I kind of forgot it started, and I tuned in a little bit late after the start because I was like, oh, fuck, right. I was like, that's starting now. And I ended up tuning in, and as I was watching it, I'm texting my wife, and I'm like, are you watching this right now? I'm like, she's killing herself. Like, she's literally lynching herself on live television. She could not answer a single question, and you could tell for the first time in her life that somebody was pushing back on her. That somebody was actually asking her to articulate her point and give an answer, and she simply couldn't do it. She didn't have one because her whole campaign and same with Biden, but her whole premise of her campaign has been, well, I'm not Donald Trump, so vote for me.
That's her only platform.
Okay, you're not Donald Trump. That's great. What are you going to do for the country? Not be Donald Trump. Right, we got that. But, what are you going to do for the country once you're elected? Well, I'm going to bring joy. Okay, but how are you going to do that?
Joy.
Well, we're by not being Donald Trump. It's like, no, that's not a fucking answer, you fucking vapid slug. She is just the epitome of somebody who sucked all the right dicks at all the right time and just got exactly where she needed to go. She checked all the right boxes, sucked all the right dicks, and now she finds herself running for the president of the most powerful country in the world. And what I think is the scariest part about it is I think there's probably close to 40-45% of the people in this country that think she would be a qualified, legitimate candidate or president.
Yeah,
because she is a candidate.
Yeah, and the troubling part, the most glaring and troubling aspect of it to me is that she is part of the current administration. That is the problem. This is
when they asked her, what are you going to do? Like, what would you do differently that you didn't do for the last 3.5 years? It's like, nothing comes to mind.
Yeah. So
it's like, really?
Yeah,
nothing at all.
Do right now is I don't know if you can see it because we'll have to figure out that stuff. But I brought up an article from The Guardian. Just one of the first ones I picked. I wasn't going with CNN or Fox. I'm going with something that's supposedly bipartisan. And it's the key takeaways. The first being immigration. But the one I wanted, the one I wanted to touch on first was what you had just brought up. The record. Says here, Harris was questioned over her recent comment that there was, quote, not a thing she would change about the actions of the Biden administration. Responding, let me be very clear, my presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency, but she did not elaborate. She was asked when she first noticed that Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished And at that point, it was like the GTA boom sound effect. The screen goes dark and it says wasted. She froze up. But the vice president responded by saying that the president had the judgment and experience to do what he needs to be done on behalf of the American people. She added that the people who knew Trump best have said he is unfit to be president ever again, adding Joe Biden is not on the ballot and Donald Trump is. So she did what a lot of other liberals did. As soon as Joe Biden dropped out, and even some of them, at least the big talking heads, admitted after that debate between Trump and Biden that, okay, yeah, no, this has been a thing for a while. We now have to fully address it.
Yep.
Now they're spinning it. Oh, well, Trump is now the oldest candidate running. We should question his mental faculties.
Right. And you could see that this past week too. And I don't know if you caught this, but just kind of like the whole, like, to kind of go back off the interview thing, Trump did an interview on the Dan Bongino show on Friday morning. And, you know, they said 11 o'clock and we can give you 30 minutes or whatever it was. Well, they got there a little bit late. They were only able to do like 23 or 24 minutes for the interview. And Trump says, oh, okay, like, hey, they're telling me I got to go. We got to go. So I got to wrap it up there. And Bongino's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, no big deal. Thank you for your time. Like, he understands as an ex-Secret Service guy, like how these things work, the schedules. And then you have like these left-wing left-wing, I don't even want to call them information outlets, like, not because like news is not even a thing, but like these left-wing rags coming out and saying an exhausted Trump pulls plug on friendly interview early. And it's like, well, no, he didn't pull it early because he had to go do another one. Like, yeah,
he's kind of busy right now.
So they're trying to like frame it like he's exhausted and he's old and he's tired and frail. It's like, no. You're just taking all the shit that we said about Biden 4 years ago and we were dead ass right on and just recycling it now. And that's all the left-wing media does is they project like whatever is going on their side of the aisle. They just try to project onto our side. And it's like,
100%.
No, like, we're not buying that anymore. Like, you've tried that. Like, no, you told us Trump was going to get us into World War III. He didn't. Now we're on the brink of World War III under this administration. You told us inflation was transitory. It wasn't. You told us, all this shit was going to happen under Trump. None of it did. And then it all happens under your administration. Then you blame Trump for it. It's like, no, I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a brain. Like, I can pretty much figure this one out.
Yeah, and if it can lead back to Trump and a failing of his during his administration, it's most likely because he was being cock-blocked by the Dems.
Most of the time, yeah.
And wasn't able to fulfill some of the promises that he had made pre-election.
They
all exaggerate what they're going to deliver on. Most smart voters have accepted that. They're not going to accomplish everything. But
well, because they can't, because they're gonna have to jump so many fucking hurdles and clear so much red tape before they can accomplish even one thing, that any little misstep or redirection is could derail an entire program.
Exactly, and him being railroaded the way he was, impeached twice unsuccessfully, I might add. It really, they cuffed him, and he wasn't able to get certain things done because he was too focused on. He was too focused on having to fight outside entities. Like, he was too focused on fighting the enemy within the country, so he wasn't able to improve it because the people that and that's, I think, people have a hard time understanding about the Trump administration from 16 to 20 is that Trump spent so much time fighting all these people in his own government, and it's like, doesn't that tell you everything that you need to know? Like, this guy was trying to make the country better, and every step of the way he was met with resistance because there are people in this government, in our government, and I guess it's a hard thing for people to wrap their head around, that don't want to see the middle class be successful. They don't want to see us be a super successful country. They want us to toil around in kind of the middle of the road in a lot of things. They want us to have, they want us to just barely get by and let them have cake, and every once in a while they'll throw you a bone. But that's the problem is Trump wants the United States to be the most successful, richest, powerful country in the world. But there are people in government that don't want that because then they can't get rich off the backs of fucking losers like us. Mm-hmm.
And middle class people who gobble their bullshit straight up. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying like my thing is I don't worship politicians just like I don't worship athletes or anybody else or famous actors or anything like that. But I look at results. And the results said that my life in this country was on a better trajectory from 2016 to 2020 than it was from 20 to 2024. Point blank. So there's your results. Like whether it was Trump that did that or it was Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, it wouldn't really matter. The results spoke for themselves. So yeah, like that's the thing. Don't look at the candidate, look at the results. And if the candidate, because people don't understand politicians are tools. They're tools for us to get what we want as a people. We elect them to do things that we want them to do. If they don't get it done, we don't vote for them anymore. Duh. That's how it's supposed to work. But we've gotten to this point where sports is politics has become the biggest sport in this country. That it's, well, I'm on this side of the aisle, you're on that side, and fuck you and fuck your team, no matter what. And it's like, well, no, that's not going to work either. Like we can't act like that.
It shouldn't. Well, we, you and I know we can't, but there's a good amount of people that don't realize that, or in some kind of severe loser denial. That's how it's going to work. But he was right the whole time. He was like, and he's not wrong to have to or want. Well, in this case, he had to fight those enemies within our own government because they knew he wasn't in the pocket of anybody else. He's not a career politician like these other people. He had truly the country's best interests in mind, and they didn't like it because that affects our bottom line and everything we set up. With our friends who are also in high places, and we all work together to keep everyone in the middle.
Right. It's like what's the difference between the Bushes, the Clintons, and the Obamas? Absolutely nothing. There's the one letter next to the end of their name. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why. And what does it tell you when all of them all hate Trump the way that they do? That's probably the guy that you should vote for. Because if all these people don't like this one guy because he's an outsider and he's not one of the good old boys, meaning he's not for the status quo, well, that probably means things are, he's going to at least try to do something good for us, right? Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like an easy answer. I look at a lot of times, like I can judge a situation just based off of like my Facebook timeline and like who's taking what side, like who's mad about it and who's not, or like who's defending it or who's against it. Like I can just see like, okay, I know if this person's defending it, that probably means it's a shit fucking deal.
Yeah.
And I have dozens of friends like that. And I'm sure I probably fit that mold for a couple other people, but I'm probably smarter than them. So it doesn't matter, at least more educated on that topic. But nonetheless, and I'm fully willing to toot my own horn on that. I don't really give a fuck because I inundate myself with this shit. This is what I do every day. Like, it's sports is what I do for fun. Politics is more kind of like a passion of mine. So this is kind of like more of become what I've gotten into. And I guess it's, part of product of getting older.
Yeah.
Because you actually have to start caring about this shit.
Right. And yeah, with age comes wisdom. It doesn't always work that way in some cases with certain people. But yeah, no, you're right. And yes, you can still be passionate about sports and follow that. But when it comes to topics like this, any kind of political thing, especially when it has huge ramifications for everybody in the country, yeah, you should care a bit more about it.
Yeah.
The common person, maybe reads headlines here and there, watch an interview or debate here or there, but they're not really entrenching themselves as much as they could. Not that they should; it's their option to do so. But when they start coming at you with just the regurgitated rhetoric that has been spewed by either one side or the other of the media, that's when you lose my attention.
Yeah, because you're clearly not, and you're not on a level where you can actually have a discussion about it. And that's why, I have a few friends that are on the liberal side of things that I actually respect their opinions and I'll talk to and listen to.
Sure.
And we'll disagree vehemently.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll argue, but at least at the end of the day, like I know that their stance is coming from a place of based on their own experiences and their own opinions.
They at least have an educated opinion.
Yeah, they're not
one born out of just sheer emotion.
Right, which again, and I mean, not for nothing, but like a lot of even like the better of my liberal friends, the ones that are more educated about a lot of things, they still fall back on, on the emotional appeal to everything, and because that's really all the left has at this point
Yeah, it's kind of
is
their
emotion.
pitfall.
They treat empathy as a currency, and especially on social media, and it's like, oh, whoever can be the biggest ally or to whatever marginalized group we're discussing today, you get the attaboy thumbs up of the day, and everybody pats you back and strokes your balls, and it's like, cool, man. Oh man, you really showed those Zionists who was boss, man. Yeah, free Palestine. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
No.
Like, oh, well, you don't think that the Israelis blowing up Gaza? Like, no, fuck Gaza. Fuck them. Fuck them all. Fucking pave Gaza. I don't give a fuck.
Glass parking lot.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
This is what happens when you elect a terrorist regime to run your country. You get fucked.
Yeah. Whoops, all terrorism. Like...
Oh, who knew? Who saw that coming? I don't know.
Jesus.
Literally everybody.
Yeah,
but that's a
why do
whole
we
nother.
think that would be a good idea, but
yeah,
since we're
that's
still
it's pretty deep. That's a deeper dive.
We can. Yeah, I kind of want to go over they made like 4 major points about her interview here. So we went over the Biden-Harris record. Next, we'll just briefly go over her immigration, then we can discuss that. Harris was asked about the Biden administration's efforts to tackle a surge in illegal immigration at the southern border and laid the blame on Republicans for failing to pass a border bill. I can't even say that
right.
without laughing. Harris was asked to defend the administration's early decision to reverse some of the Republican rival Donald Trump's restrictive policies and to respond to a mother who testified in Congress about the loss of her child at the hands of an illegal immigrant. She says, and I quote, "I'm so sorry for her loss, but let's talk about what is happening right now." Harris said Trump...
Sorry your kid's dead, and it's kind of my fault, but that was like 6 weeks ago, bro. Get over it.
Yeah, live in the now.
Yeah.
Like, you already had the funeral, right? Suck it up. Harris said Trump told Republicans to reject the bipartisan immigration bill because he, quote, preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff in that, and if you actually look at that bill, that whether Trump told people to oppose it or not, I mean, I guess it really shouldn't matter because he's not an elected official. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he might be president, he might not, but at the end of the day, I guess it depends. It really depends if you think he's going to be reelected president or not, whether or not you would oppose it just based on that. That being said, I think Trump had the best plan for the border of any president that we've had, arguably, probably since Bill Clinton. I mean, Bill Clinton, people forget that he was super tough on immigration, which you don't think of Bill Clinton as kind of being that, but that was an eternity ago, back when the left was actually like, the left back then, not the wild, like, to the left of Lenin they are now.
Yeah.
But if you look at that bill, there was so much pork in that bill, fast tracking amnesty for, fast tracking citizenship for illegals, minimal vetting, all these handouts. I think there was like another, fucking billions of dollars for Ukraine shoved in there somewhere. It was like all this other shit, but they called it like, oh, it's the border bill to secure the border, and it's like,
no, there's way more involved to it.
Yeah, there's like $220 million that's going to go to the border, and then where's the other 3.2 trillion going?
Yeah, they ignore the fact that Trump probably disagreed with all that extra stuff that has nothing to do with the border at all.
Correct.
And he's just like, all right, maybe some of this is good, but like, no, this is too broad of a thing right now. We got to stay focused on it and have it be about
and that's the problem with most bills.
Other goddamn things.
I mean, look at the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the fucking the most laughable fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. They called it the Inflation Reduction Act, which, if anything, it only contributed to higher inflation. And then even Biden came out and said the quiet part out loud when he's like, we passed the biggest, the bill that sent the most funding to green energy for the United States. And, it was the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, we probably just should have called it what it was, but whatever. And basically said, like, yeah, it was the Green New Deal. We just called it something else to get you fucking idiots to say, like, to get on board and say, like, yeah, let's pass that.
Yeah.
And you guys bought it. And now they're coming out and being like, yeah, we should have just called it what it actually was, but whatever. No, damage is done. Fuck you.
They like to sneak it in the back when you're not looking. It's
Yeah, they make it. It's like, oh, here's a 578 page bill. Oh, and by the way, we got 8 hours to vote on it. Good luck reading it all. And you're like, no, that's not how this is supposed to work. Like, fuck you.
that's why it takes years to become. I know it's not a 1-to-1 thing here, but like a lawyer, because you gotta learn to speak law. That's why
Yeah, it's
they
a
get
different
paid.
language.
Yeah, it takes years to do that. A normal schmo going up there trying to represent themselves in court is almost like the worst thing you could ever do. As
Like,
a person.
do you remember the Net Neutrality Act
Oh,
from like 10 years ago or so?
I remember the name of it. I kind of remember.
So it was basically like it was a pissing match between like it was a
during
pissing
the
match
Obama
between like the
administration,
the
right?
service, like the internet service providers like Verizon and
Xfinity.
T-Mobile and Xfinity or whatever, and then like Google and Facebook and like the content providers. And it was basically like just who was going to be able to like dictate like what got what done, and like it really had nothing like
Yeah,
basically
I remember
the end
it
of the
being a
day, no
big
matter
deal,
which
but
no matter which way it went, like
didn't really matter.
the consumer was going to lose. So I actually downloaded the PDF. I think I still have it somewhere on my hard drive. It was like 470 pages, and I actually skimmed through most of it, and it was all lawyer speak. It was like damn near impossible to read.
Yeah, you have to
And
be able
I
to
went
translate
through
it.
yeah, and I went through most of it and basically found out I was like, oh, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is just this is literally a giant douche and a turd sandwich. That's what we're choosing between, right? Like but the propaganda from one side of it was like, oh, do you want to get nickel and dime for your internet where you have to pay for all these streaming services? Then you better not vote for this. And then it's like, well, that's what ended up fucking happening anyway. And we didn't vote. Like, so what the fuck? Like it didn't matter. And they're like, nope, it didn't matter, but thanks. Like,
yeah, I remember
it was a different dozen assholes getting rich than the other, and the other dozen are mad that they didn't get as rich.
I remember the people that got the most upset about it that I can recall were pretty much all kind of left-leaning friends of mine. And
Yeah,
like,
well, because it was all over Reddit.
Yeah.
And if it's on Reddit, if Reddit is against it, then I'm most likely for it.
Fucking Reddit, man.
Reddit is like, it is just the ultimate idiot hive mind for idiots. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, it's basically just a CCP like
yeah, and I'm not
traffic website.
It basically is, and I'm not on like 4chan either, which is just weaponized autism. But those guys
4chan,
get some interesting things done. I'll give them that, but I'm not.
Yeah,
on there.
4chan gets shit done though. I will give that. Like, they got the whole, like, they were the ones that made this symbol, like the white supremacy symbol.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, we're gonna tell everybody.
Like, hey, let's see if we can make this people believe that this means white power, because it's just kind of a tick that Donald Trump has when he talks, and a lot of other people do this as well.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's all over like MSNBC and like Politico's running with it, and you're like, ha! Like, we did that, And it's like there was
news organizations, and you were presenting that as news. Not one person on your research team did enough a 2-second Google search to find out, oh, it started on 4chan as a joke.
Or they did, and they just didn't care because it helped push their narrative.
It's because it's just it's pure sensationalism. It sounds so ridiculous, and they're like, oh, run it.
Yeah, it's like it's like the AI with the cats with the body armor and the AR-15s, and they're like, not today, Haitians, and
right. Oh, that's
everybody's
hilarious,
like,
though.
This is hate speech, and it's like, no, this is comedy. You're just retarded.
Oh yeah, I think one of them even had them in like Huey's, and they're Fortunate Sons playing and everything.
It was fucking great. Yeah, it was like the 2024 version of the Viking kittens from E-Bombs World.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With the immigrant song by Led Zeppelin, and they got the little helmets on, and they're just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that takes me back.
I know, right? That's 20 plus years ago, brother.
So yeah, I mean, that's
dating ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, a little. Jesus, happens every day when I get out of bed and my knees and everything else cracks.
I know. I was stretching at the gym today, and my knee was cracking and popping. I'm like, I'm just stretching. Can you at least wait until we do something? Like, Jesus.
I'm applying no weight to it yet. Like, I'm just moving.
Yeah. It's like I'm literally just existing, and you're like, pop, 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 pop. It sounds like a fucking popcorn machine.
Oh yeah, basically. So that was her on immigration, which I think we can both agree is laughable at best.
Yeah, her immigration policy is to let more in, and when that doesn't work, continue letting them in.
Well, yeah, I noticed there that she didn't say. I mean, these are very brief synopsis of
Yeah.
her.
Well, yeah, we don't need to go into the whole details of it all because,
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's already a week old. Everybody kind of already saw it and knows, but
yeah, let's. So here's her asked on the Middle East. Harris singled out Iran when asked which foreign country she considers to be America's greatest adversary. Baer questioned whether the Biden-Harris administration was acting like Iran is the number one threat. The vice president said she had worked with the heads of the military to do what America must always do, which is to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself from attack. Quote, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region, and my commitment to that is unwavering.
I'm sure that went over like a fart in church in Rashida Tlaib's office.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then pushing back against Baer's line of questioning, Harris at one point said, quote, I would like if we could have a conversation that is grounded in a full assessment of the facts.
Ah, yeah, those pesky facts.
They always seem to get in the way for her.
They do. They really do. You know? Yeah, the number one rule of sales is never let facts ruin a good story. And that has pretty much been her entire campaign. They're just like, yep, we're just going to sit here and just continue just saying, you know, saying nothing, but say many words, but say nothing, but use a lot of words and say things like opportunity economy and unburdened. And, you know, we have to recognize the significance. Okay. Like, it's just like, Jesus Christ. She says the same shit every day. Like, and I don't understand. Like,
in person, I just got to say, yeah, like the nasaliness and then the delivering it. Okay. Like, oh, God, I want to punch you in the face.
Yeah. It's like, why do I hate myself all of a sudden? No, that's the thing. She sucks. And like, she's the fucking worst politician ever because all she does is just, like, she just went on Brett Baer's interview and just like kept doling out new recipes for word salads every time she got asked a serious question. And she's just like, anyway, so we're going to have to, you know, win what we call an opportunity. Okay. And I love the American people. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, we're asking you fucking to answer the question. We don't care. You love the American people. First of all, bullshit. No, you don't. Second of all, fuck you. Answer the question. And she couldn't.
I did love seeing Baer like push back on her when she was like trying to dance around. Yeah, and just serve more word salad. Like she was, but he was like, no, but you're not. And she's like, I'm trying to. You have to let me finish. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to. And
yeah, like, she tried to pull the I'm speaking. Okay,
yeah, but he was like, no, but you're not. He's like, you're talking, but you're not saying anything. It's not germane to. You're not answering the question.
It's like my uncle. It's like my uncle used to tell me. He'd be like, Joey, you're hearing me, but you're not listening. You know? And you're like, yeah, okay. And I'd kind of roll my eyes like, yeah, I got it, Uncle Steve. But, you know.
And you got older and you're like,
damn it, he was right.
Fuck.
Why are they always right?
I wasn't just a stupid fucking kid.
It's like, God, I was in college. I thought I was so smart. No, but she just, what was it? The one that, and then she gets super upset. And starts, you know, doing like the finger pointing and like, this is the United States of America and he's going to jail his political opponents. It's like,
yep.
And it's like, oh, there's the projecting again, because that's exactly what you're trying to do right now. Yeah, you are literally running him through the gauntlet in court, trying to convict him on felonies so that you'll have an excuse not to certify the election.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what they're left with was it Judge Ergron, whatever they're, the fucking weirdo dude with the gray hair whose daughter worked for the Biden campaign? Like,
yes, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
It's
but they just project and they're like, oh, he's gonna jail his political opponents. Like, you mean like you're trying to do? Like, is Steve Bannon not in serving prison time right now? Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, when asked of Trump, she said people are exhausted with someone who professed to be a leader and who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances. She added also, quote, he's not stable. She also sought to focus Fox viewers on Trump's talk of the enemy within, quote unquote, and threats to punish his political rivals. So, yeah, she's been saying that. I think Biden also brought that up during his campaign. I mean, yeah, Trump has basically said that, but they're expounding on it to a degree that isn't, I don't think, reasonable.
Well, I guess my thing with that is if Trump is going to air out his personal grievances with people, if I also have personal grievances with those people, then I'm all for it. And his personal grievances oftentimes seem to be with the people that seem to be undermining and trying to subvert everything that he's trying to do in an effort to make our country better. So
Yeah.
I really like if you're trying to sell me on like, oh, he's going to jail his political opponents. Be like, well, do they belong in jail? Are they guilty of a
are
crime?
they guilty of something that they should
Because
be?
you know what the Biden administration's done with the DOJ and the weaponization of it is they looked at Trump and they said, "There's the man. Find me the crime."
Get him. Yeah.
Not here's the crime. Find me who did it, which is the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like so, we could do this for everybody, and of course, the shit they're trying to tack on Trump is it's obviously it's nothing. You know, like oh, he's a convicted felon. Like yeah, okay. If he's a convicted felon, then so is literally everyone ever.
Pretty much.
You know, it's like, and we all know those felonies are going to get tossed out on appeal.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point, you know, it's exactly
trying to stop. They're throwing every piece of shit that they have at the wall, seeing what.
Just praying to God something sticks.
And nothing has stuck yet. They're taking really dry shits. Like
he's Teflon Don, baby. You can't touch him. You know, Uncle Donnie's slick. He knows how to cover his tracks.
He's dodged one bullet already, so it's.
I mean, technically 3, I guess. Well, one bullet he dodged. The second one he almost had to dodge, which I'm sure he probably would have just like Matrix that shit.
Yep.
Like, and then the third one, I guess, was really like not really an attempt on his life, but
yeah, that's why I didn't even.
What did we just say about sales? Like, don't let facts ruin, good stories. So
yeah, because that was going to be something that I was going to bring up last week, and then as the night rolled or that day rolled on, it turned out like it was kind of a nothing burger,
right,
compared to the at least certainly the first and then the second, which nearly happened, not nearly as close as the first one, obviously.
But still a little too close for comfort, nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. The guy being there for as long as he was, especially.
Yeah, like 12 hours.
Yeah, we definitely already touched on that. But yeah, it is sus that he was there for that long. How did he know?
It's fucking insane. It's absolutely fucking insane. And like the one spot that everybody knows people go to too. But yeah, we did this one. But yeah, it's just I think that's there's been we'll call it 2 attempts on his life. I'm still firmly in belief that there will be another, and like
only
the
weeks, it's gonna have to happen.
We're 2 weeks away. I mean, 2 weeks from tomorrow is the election. So, the thing that scares me the most is that he gets elected and doesn't make it to office. That would be devastating for our country because it would propel us into territory we've never been.
Yeah, unprecedented.
It'll only get worse. It won't stop there is what worries me. Because once you go down that road of political violence, there's no coming back. Like you are off and down it. Like you cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube. That being said, I think when Trump wins on November 5th, from November 6th to January 19th is going to be bedlam and chaos.
Buckle up, buckaroos.
For real. Gather weapons and ammo. It's going to get ugly. If you live in a major population center, it is going to make the summer of 2020 look like a fucking cakewalk.
Yeah, it'll be a winter of love.
Yes, it'll be a winter of love, and this is how forests grow.
Yeah, joy to the world during Christmas time. Fucking Kamala's running on her platform of joy. And I'm not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
But she's also not Joe Biden. So, as she told Stephen Colbert so eloquently, it's like, well, what are you going to do differently? Well, I'm not Joe Biden. Yeah, we can see that. But I'm also not Donald Trump. And you're like, okay, but you still haven't told me what you would do differently, you fucking vapid bitch. Oh my God. I fucking can't with her. Like she makes me nauseous.
I almost can't like listen to her speak anymore. It's just her voice, and then the things she's saying or
And then
lack
the
thereof.
cackling.
The cat, like I'm not gonna, you know, jump on the cackle bandwagon too much. It is bad, but
Well, because it's her nervous tick.
yeah,
And it's not so much that like her laugh annoys the ever loving shit out of me. It's the fact that she just whenever she's caught in a corner and doesn't know what to say, she just starts laughing. Like, or she says something like ridiculous. She's like, and we're here to talk about school buses, and who doesn't love a yellow school bus? And you're like, why is that funny?
it's no
Like you can just
again,
tell she's so uncomfortable in public
she's
settings.
trying to be like likable, relatable, but yeah, again, she's so awkward at doing it.
Yeah.
She's just saying whatever is, come into her mind that sounds like it's a thing, but it's not. Like it's like she's inventing weird platitudes.
Yeah, like she's just like, I don't have anything, so insert laugh track here. Like, oh, okay, guess we're laughing now. Like, and he's like, oh, she's so joyful. It's like, no, she's dumb. Like, she is just the epitome of lazy and dumb. Like, she's like, wait. She's like, I can't just suck 81 million dicks and get elected? What the fuck?
But it's worked every other time.
Well, it's worked to this point. But
Yeah,
like
got
I
her
said,
to
all
the
she's
second highest level, and
I mean, but she also didn't get elected to go anywhere. Like, you know, she got
True.
appointed, and
they're like,
you
well,
know,
we
she
got
was,
all this fucking campaign money, and we can't give it to anybody else.
yeah. So I guess we're gonna have to, leave it to you. Fuck.
Shit.
Like, what have we done?
Fuck, Joe, but might actually, in hindsight, right now, based on everything we know and how things have gone thus far, Joe might have actually been had the better.
Oh, 100%.
Chance.
And that fucking angry old man is just, he's lost it, dude. Like that video of him the other day after the hurricanes in Carolina, when he told Donald Trump to get a life and do something to help these people.
It's like he was there the day after the first one.
And not only that, but I'm like, bro, you're the president, not him. Like,
right.
it's
not
like
his
they
job
live
to
in
do
this.
it.
They live in this weird world where like it's all so much Trump's fault. And I know we're going on and on about Trump, and I know it's probably boring some people, but like they live in this bubble where no matter what bad thing happens, they just blame Trump, and they just do it unapologetically, and they figure like, well, if we just keep blaming Trump, eventually it'll become the truth. And it's like, dog, you are the president of the United States. You help these people.
Yeah.
You get them the aid. Why are you even mentioning Donald Trump?
Yeah, you're not even in the election. I know your current VP is.
But you're the president. You're the one that's supposed to be handling this shit. Like, who's running the fucking country right now?
Yeah, it's such a weird attack to make. Like, if you're going to say anything like that, say, oh, well, actually, he shouldn't even be bringing up Donald Trump.
No.
He should just be like, hey, here's why we're here. We're here to help, and here's what we're doing.
At least Obama was a divisive, lying, racist piece of shit, but at least he was a smart, divisive, lying, racist piece of shit. And he could talk his way out of most things.
He was way
this
more
demented old fool
than
can't fucking do it to save his life.
No. And Kamala is about as charming as,
She's as charming as a crocodile with what is it? How's the Grinch song go?
Shit, it's been too long.
You're as charming as a crocodile with a 3.5 foot smile. Oh, how's it go? I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
Christmas is coming. It'll come to me, and I think Christmas is coming quick, dude. Holy shit! Like, what are we like 6-7 weeks away?
I guess. Yeah. That sounds about right.
But let's put a happy little red bow on the Trump thing because we got some other stuff I want to get to too. And
sure.
I as much as I could sit here and just wax poetic about how great Uncle Donnie is for the rest of the night, but again, I think people get a little trumped out, and I think that's honestly one of the biggest issues that people have, especially in 2020. And I'll leave this as my final thought on it. Is I think people just wanted like a return to like what they thought was normal, where like politics wasn't an everyday thing that was shoved down your throat and bashed over your head, and you weren't constantly having to like decipher what's real and what's not and who said this and who said not. It was just kind of like, like, oh, well, the president did this today, and in other news, this happened, and then there was a typhoon in Asia, and Toyota announced their quarterly earnings, and they were up, and
it's a
now it's like
of it. Like you,
everybody. I think everybody's just wanted like a return. Like, okay, can we get rid of Donald Trump because he's the reason, he's the lightning rod, he's the new guy in the block, and then all of a sudden this shit took off, and it's like, no, man, he's the return to normal that you want. You just have to suffer through the short-term pain for the long-term gain.
They're just too far gone and don't know what actual normal is anymore. So when they're
because people still actually think CNN is a real news outlet that provides real news, which is fucking wild to me.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of them I don't trust out there.
Listen. I trust very little of them, actually. Yeah. Like, people always like, oh, where'd you get that? Fox News? Like, dude, I haven't watched Fox News in the 35 years I've been old enough to know what news was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope, don't watch Fox News either. Sorry, hate to burst your bubble, but,
I watched the clips from the interview because Fox News is the one that conducted it. So
yeah, just the same way I watch CNN or MSNBC when a debate is on there. Like,
exactly.
But I'm not getting my information from them. I'm not listening to David Muir fact check in real time, even though they said they weren't going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Fucking, ridiculous.
Fucking dickbag. But anyway.
So, I think next on the ballot is a question that's actually on our ballot.
Yes. This was a good one. Because I actually just filled out my ballot. I did the mail-in ballot thing this time around.
Oh, Jesus. So you do want to have your vote changed then, is what you're saying.
I mean,
we live in Massachusetts, so ultimately
it's not going to matter. So yeah, if I was a swing state, but no. No, I do trust the mail-in. I trust that my vote will be processed as it's supposed to be. I just don't trust the other mail-in ballots that they just go and ballot harvest from, these, apartment complexes.
Nope. Hey, Joey, I lost you, buddy. All right, I'm going to try and see if we can get Joey back here. Oh.
Whatever.
Yeah, I lost you there in the stream, but I got you back.
Oh, okay. We're good then.
Yeah, you were only out for like a few seconds. But yeah,
it's all
whatever
great.
You just said there, I don't think was picked up.
Oh no, I was just saying I know mail-in balloting is rife with fraud, but I just wanted to get my vote in early, and I didn't want to go down to the library to do it because that's where the early voting is. And last time I went down there, I had the cops called on me, so by the election commissioner of New Bedford, nonetheless.
Jeez.
So that was fun. So I was trying to avoid that this time, not because I didn't want the confrontation, just because. Well,
what'd you do, or what didn't you do that they're saying that you did?
I wore a Trump hat to vote.
That's it.
That was it.
Well, yeah, I think you're not supposed to wear any
technically. So there was a whole thing in Minnesota back in 2018 that went through their Supreme Court about if you could wear apparel like T-shirts and hats because you're obviously not supposed to pick it. It kind of got left up in the air. It was kind of a gray area. Massachusetts says like you can't, but then again they can't tell you not to vote. It wasn't so much the fact that this jackass told me I couldn't wear it, which he was like, hey man, like I appreciate like you want to rep like your candidate, whatever. But like Massachusetts law says like you can't wear that stuff in here. So like, do you mind just taking it off while you vote? I would have been like, oh yeah, absolutely, dude. My bad, no problem.
But that's not how it went.
Well, that was not the attitude I was met with. That was not the energy that was given to me. I believe his exact words were, "I'm sick and fucking tired of you fucking people pushing this shit on people." And I was like, "Excuse me." Had to
look at my shirt.
So I wore my hat while I voted, and then he told me, "I told you to take that fucking shit off." And I said, "Take my ballot, and I'll see myself out. Don't worry about it. I'm leaving."
All right.
And then he followed me all the way down to the street while he was supposedly on the phone with the cops. And when he called the cops, like, "Yeah, I need to report election interference." And like me, my wife, and it was with me, and another guy who gave me I had another guy come up to me on the street who was voting with us at the time.
Yep.
And he came up to me on the street and said, "Here's my phone number. If you need to call me as a witness to what just fucking happened, if anything comes of this."
Shit.
Total fucking racist piece of shit, asshole. Fuck that guy and the horse he rode in on. I think we lost me again.
No, I got you back.
Okay. But yeah, he's a real piece of fucking work, that guy. I don't know if I would have been able to hold my tongue the second time around, so I did it for my own benefit.
I understand that reasoning. You know that
I think I showed a lot of restraint in 2020. And I don't think I would show that restraint again. So I just decided to not have that let that become an issue.
No, I feel you, man.
But anyway, to the ballot.
Yes, to the ballot. So you wanted to bring up question 5 in particular, and here in Massachusetts, basically, I can give a brief synopsis of it. It would change the way that service workers, waitstaff, primarily bartenders, the like, would be making more money overtime, hourly, plan at being 100% the same minimum wage, being achieved by January 1st of 2029, while also eliminating tips. That's basically it. If it goes into pass, right?
Yeah, so basically they want to remove tipping as like kind of a thing and just make restaurants pay servers an hourly rate.
Yes, because currently in Massachusetts they make about $6 an hour.
I mean, I made when I was doing it. It was which is significantly more than when I was doing it. I did it. It was $2.63 an hour.
Yes. Yeah, when we were younger, it was. But also the minimum wage back then was also like probably like $8.
Let's see. Last time I worked in the restaurant, as a paid employee, was like 2014. So yeah, about 10 years ago.
Okay. Oh, back then it was probably more than the minimum wage back then is probably.
It was a little bit more, but yeah, I was still making $2.63 an hour as a bartender / server.
Yes, but that's been the status quo because you make most of your money from tips.
Correct, and there's a lot of people. And here's the thing: anybody you talk to in the service industry is adamant no. Like if there is anyone that says they want this to pass, they are very, very far and few between.
Yeah, I have several that I'm very good friends with, and they all say nope.
Yeah, and one of the arguments that I heard, and it was the most selfish, like, fuck you I've ever heard to anybody, was that this particular person, excuse me, made his living in the back of the house. And he wanted the servers to get he wanted to vote yes on this, so that way all the tips would be pooled and then divided evenly throughout the entire restaurant.
Right, that happens. That's also part of it.
Which is like first of all, no, fuck you. Like, if you want to fucking come out here and fucking deal with these shit ass fucking customers who think that like their extra side of fucking blue cheese or whatever it is that their specific little order is paramount to everything else that is going on in the world, then you can come fucking deal with them. But until you do that, no, that's I'm working for that tip. I am working for that tip.
Yes.
Because I'm the one that's having to take care of this person.
Yeah, in the back of the house, they're getting paid at least the minimum, if not more.
You're getting paid at least minimum wage. Most of them are getting paid more than that if you're a line cook, depending on, you're a fry cook, salads, whatever. Sure. Different restaurants break it up into different things. And have different positions that earn different money. But if you want to make money in the back of the house, go become a head chef and increase your skill level. Like, that's what it is. It's a skills-based position. It doesn't take a super genius to sit there and throw fish and chips and chicken tenders in a fry-o-later and make French fries all night.
Yeah.
Like, high school kids do that shit. So why the fuck am I going to be out there waiting on tables, bussing tables, running drinks, running food, doing all this extra shit, and kissing the people's asses who sit there to maybe get a 20% tip that then I'm going to have to split amongst everybody?
Yeah. Now, some places.
No. That's communism, sir, and
Yeah.
I'm not for it.
Exactly. Now, there's some restaurants, one in particular that I know of that I haven't been to in a while, but I know the owner and two of my former roommates who were also brothers were cooks there for like throughout their 20s. The Back Eddy. You can tip the kitchen there by buying
Yeah.
them a pitcher of beer.
Yep, and I think that's
And
a
they love it.
great move. If you really care about the kitchen staff, do that, and that's
But
cool.
that's separate. That's for those guys. You know, they're
Right.
all like 20-something kids for the most part. They love getting free beer. You want to do that? Yeah. Well, the owner is like, yeah, oh, I'd love it if you tip them a pitcher of beer right now. He's all for it.
Right. And
then
one of the
everybody else,
arguments.
their wait staff and bartenders are making what they're making. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
I mean, don't get me wrong.
kind of
There have
tip,
been
but-
days like I've worked doubles before and walked out, with over $1,000 in my pocket, but that's from working 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and just being slammed all fucking day.
Yeah.
And like you're not stopping, dude. Like you get done and you are fucking beat.
Absolutely. Don't know what's happening here.
Anybody in the kitchen from coming out and moving to the front of the house. All you gotta do is just check a different box on an application.
Mhm.
Like that's it. So you don't need any experience. It doesn't take any special skills to take, wait tables or 10 bar or anything like that. All you have to do is just work a different position. People, well, I don't know. I'm not a people person. I can't do that. Okay, well then I guess you're boxed into making your $15 an hour then, because I can talk to people. So the skills that I have, the people skills that I possess, and the ability that I have to talk to people are why I'm going to get paid more than you.
Yeah.
That's how it works. People are like, oh, athletes shouldn't be paid as much as they are. Really? Because there's 32 fucking guys in the world right now that are getting paid to start at quarterback in the NFL on Sundays. That's a pretty small fucking workforce.
It is.
For a multi-billion-dollar industry. So their pay is going to reflect that.
Yeah,
all right.
That's they fail to realize that. Now, are they in some cases? Yeah, they are. I think you can make that argument. But that's why they're pros and you're not. Like,
correct.
There is a cap. It's not like anybody can just do this shit.
Yeah. And I mean, and not for nothing, but like anybody can go 10 bar and sling drinks. It's really not that hard. Like sometimes you got to break out of your shell and, you're not comfortable doing it. You don't like talking to people. You don't have people. Okay, but then go hide in the back of the house, but don't bitch to me when you're not making enough money or you're mad because the guy who can do the thing that you can't is making more than you.
Yeah.
Like that is I think the most asinine reason to vote against this. And that's the only reason I've seen for people voting yes on this bill is to get rid of it. It's the never ending battle between the front of the house employees in the restaurant and the back of the house, which is
pretty much.
It's been a war that's waged since the dawn of eternity, and it'll never go away.
Yeah, if it was set up differently and they both sides of the house made less than what is the minimum wage and then therefore had to get tips one way or another, then I can understand the sharing thing.
Yeah,
at least a little bit better. It still is communism, as you said, but at least the argument can be justified. Here it can't. And like you said, you're previous in the service industry. I used to be. I wasn't front of house though. I was back.
I've done both. I did both for a long. I worked in several different restaurants in the back, and I've worked in several different restaurants in the front. So I've seen both sides of it. And the one thing was I always jealous when I was in the back of the house as to how much money the waitresses and waiters were walking out with? Of course I was. That's why I became one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was like, fuck this. Like, why am I going to sit back here being hot, sweaty, gross, and the last one out of the restaurant every night, reeking like shit?
Yep.
When I can go out, put on, have clean clothes, go out front, be relatively clean, not sweaty, work in air conditioning or whatever. Walk around, talk to people, yuck it up, throw some drinks and food on the table, and walk out of here with $300-400.
Yeah.
Like, that just seemed like a no-brainer to me. So that's what I did. Like, and there's nothing stopping anybody else from doing it. And people are like, oh, cooking's my passion. Cool. Well, if your passion doesn't pay, I'm sorry, but that's not my problem.
Right. Exactly. No, and that's the duality between those two entities that both exist in a symbiotic relationship to form a successful restaurant or any
And then I
other
think
business that's service based.
and I think the bigger picture part of that is too is I don't think people understand. So there's it's twofold. One, the overhead that restaurants would then have to incur.
Yes, 'cause-
Like you are going to kill a majority of mom and pop restaurants if you're forcing them to pay servers $15
yes,
an hour.
it's going to make the cost.
It's not plausible.
To the consumer go up exponentially. And
Yeah, like a cup of chowder now costs like $8-9 most places, where it used to be $3 or $4.
Yeah.
Now it's literally tripled in price in the last 5-6 years. Like that cup of chowder is now going to be $15. Like, I mean, there's one restaurant that I frequent a bunch with my parents, and I usually go there for drinks with them and everything. And it's a great restaurant. I won't speak ill of it at all. But it's pricey. It's Dartmouth prices. And I had, I think, 2 Guinnesses and a cup of chowder, and with tip, it was like $40.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had 2 beers and a cup of chowder. How was that $40 fucking dollars? And you realize the beers were $10 a piece. The chowder was $10, and you're like, and then you leave $10 for a tip because you're a nice person, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's my $40, and you're like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, and
like
not that long ago, that $40, that was like, oh, you got like dinner and drinks for yourself at least, or like you treated yourself to a nice lunch and a few drinks, and left a tip.
so that's gonna get worse because if you think it's expensive now. Wait until the restaurants, because the restaurants aren't going to, like, people don't understand, the restaurants aren't going to absorb that margin.
No.
Like, they're not going to absorb that cost. They're going to pass it on to the consumer, like every other fucking business in the world.
Absolutely.
When things go up, they pass it on to the consumer. So we're going to ultimately end up losing. Oh, well, it's good because then their quality of life will be better. No, it won't.
No, because now we're all paying more for this shit.
Yeah.
When they want to go out and eat, they're going to be paying just as much as we are.
Because now I'm paying $40 for a cup of chowder and 2 beers without a tip.
Yeah.
And now that waitress or bartender that gave it to me, instead of getting my $10, now has to take that $10 and split it up between the other 5 people on the floor and the 6 or 7 or 8 kitchen staff that are in the back, should they decide to do that. Like, that $10 just poof goes away. Everybody gets 70 cents, 60 cents.
Yeah.
Like,
how is that
I think the bartender who just did all the work by getting me the chowder and bringing it to me, giving me my beers, making sure that when I took my last sip, I had a fresh one right in front of me. Like, those are the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes the other side of this coin. The efficiency of restaurant workers is going to tank. Because no one is going to have an incentive to kiss your ass and hustle and make sure that you get your food hot and your drinks cold and your refills and everything else. Like,
and you're attended to in a timely manner.
Yeah, like those tables, and anybody who's been in the service industry knows they've had that table that comes in and it's like 6 kids and like an adult, and it's like, is it free refills? And you're like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
That table right there, bro, you're lucky if you're getting a refill, bro. Because I'm not hustling to get you anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for me to. I'm not getting tipped on this. So what do I give a fuck? Like, I've already made my money. I'm here. I'm making an hourly wage. Oh, you want refills? Cool. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to be in the back smoking a butt.
Yeah, machine's right there. You can just walk up to it with your cup. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit, dude.
At that
like,
point, I think it would be leading more towards automation in these, non-fast food restaurant environments. It might just come to a point where if this or a similar bill like this would to pass, you would eventually just seat yourself. There'd be a screen there at the table. You order what you want, and then like pick it up at the window yourself. Or in some of these fancier places, they are, I know in certain chains they're using some like robotic delivery devices, like a thing on wheels.
Yeah, there's like I think there was one. I think what was it in Fairhaven? Not Profile. Wow, was it Whalers Tavern? No, the one on Route 6 that used to be EJ's. It's really good. Damn it. A couple of my buddies own it. It's a really good restaurant, and they had like the robot bus boy for a little while, which was really funny. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's not widespread yet, but I can see that being a norm at some point. Maybe give it another 10 years where it's you see it more often. But yet, something like this passing would certainly, I think, lead to
Traveler's Ale House. Damn it.
Oh, Travelers, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got that right because I was like my
Yeah,
friend
my
owns
friend's
it.
own. I'm a fucking asshole for forgetting the name.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in Fairhaven, it was EJ's, so it's like that's permanently ingrained in my head.
Sure. Yeah,
But yeah, the production value of service staff is going to go through the floor. So like if you think like that if you're one of those people that thinks that you're fucking like extra side of dressing or your extra crispy French fries or like this big fucking deal, I got really, really, really fucking bad news for you. Like, no one's gonna give a fuck if this happens because I'm getting paid one way or another. There is no reason for me, none, to go above and beyond in the service aspect of things, and not and to take it even a step further, when you have one of those idiot fucking asshole customers that orders a Cosmopolitan or a martini and they're like, oh, this is too strong. It's like, huh? Like, and they send it back and they're like, I want this made. And you have to make it again for them.
Yeah.
Because your tip depends on it. It'll be like, nah, dumbass, that's what you ordered.
That's it.
Like, and I'm not even taking it off the bill. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
I get paid. I get paid.
Made.
Yeah. Like, I get paid my hourly rate. Fuck you. Oh, my steak's medium, not medium rare. Chef said it was medium rare when it came off the grill. So you probably just waited too long to eat it.
Yeah, I
don't give a shit.
More than I trust you.
Yeah, right. Like, I honestly don't fucking care because you're not giving me anything anyway. There's no value here. There's no reason for me to kiss your ass. So that's the other thing I think people don't realize is that that your service is going to go through the fucking floor if this goes through.
Yeah, everything takes a hit here from top to bottom within the industry. Essentially, it affects it at that kind of a level.
And I mean, the good news is I think this is going to be overwhelmingly no.
I think so too.
So,
interestingly enough, when you look up who supports this, it's all D's in parentheses behind after their names.
And not only that, but if you go on, there's a huge thread on Reddit about why there's on Reddit our Massachusetts is the why they should pass. And I was like, oh, there's all you need to know.
Well, here's an argument against it. It's Steve Clark, president and CEO of the Massachusetts Restaurant Association. If this ballot question passes, it's going to impact three peers. It's going to impact the server themselves, who's going to make less money. It's going to impact the restaurant owner, who's going to have higher costs, upwards of $18,000 per tip employee to implement this, and it's going to have a higher cost for the consumer because there's going to be higher costs. Basically, everything you just said. He also
and listen, I mean, I'm no expert, but I've been around the industry long enough to know how this shit works, and when you think about that number right there, $18,000 per tipped employee. Okay,
that's annually, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and that's my guess as well. But when you factor in, because they don't work, it's not like servers are like 40, 50-hour a week jobs, But here's the thing: they're not going to make as much money because shifts are going to be shorter.
Yep.
They're going to run with less people, and the service is what's ultimately going to take the hit because. If you have 10 tipped employees, say you're a smallish restaurant, right? You have 10 servers and bartenders on your floor at any given Friday night. That's $180,000 a year. Nope, I can't afford that. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut that down to 5.
Yeah.
And those 5 people are now going to be doing the work of 10. And what do you think is going to happen to the level of service? Because even the ones that do give a shit are going to be so overworked and overwhelmed that they're not going to be able to keep up anyway.
Exactly.
And then the ones that don't give a shit are going to be like, I don't care, bro. Let that fucking rare steak turn to medium well in the window. I don't give a fuck. There's no incentive for me to hustle it out there. I don't care. Hourly employees move at one pace, bro, because they're paid by the hour. Like, it's a joke, a running joke we have. Like, when someone's taking their sweet ass time, it's like, yo, what are you, hourly? Like, come on, pick it up.
Oh, dude, of course.
So it's such an easy thing to see coming down the pike, and yet people are still like, no, vote yes on this. If and I think one of the Reddit threads was like, they're like, oh, all these greedy restaurant owners. I'm like, they're all super wealthy. I'm like, how many restaurant owners do you know? Because I know a bunch, and none of them would be what I consider super wealthy. Like, outside of like Steve Silverstein, but he's gone from being a restaurant owner to owning he's a developer now. Like, he's not even. I don't think
he's kind of like
he's not a restaurant owner. He's a like restaurant tycoon. Right.
yeah,
So he's one of like, he's the top 1%. The other 99% of people that I know, they make enough to get by and do okay, but they're not millionaires by any stretch.
No.
Like, and a lot of them are fucking, struggling to keep their doors open a lot of the times.
And most of them fail within the first couple of years because the overhead is just so much. You're
Yeah.
pretty much every new restaurant, unless you're like already very well off financially and have that cushion, to fall upon if need be, you're just bleeding out money. For
Yeah, you gotta hustle to make some money as a restaurant owner, especially in the beginning, like you said. And it's wild, dude.
Clientele, like gain a reputation, and then be consistently busy.
Yeah, and if you're gonna be open, like especially somewhere like take Paid Naram for example, like it's local to us.
Yep.
You take Paid Naram. Big time summer. It's a big summer town now. It bumps in the summer. You can't find fucking parking. There's a billion people down there. There's Connecticut and New York plates everywhere, and people from out of town.
Area. It's
a tiny area. But those restaurants in the winter, from basically October through May, they depend on the locals to keep their doors open. So if the locals are the only ones coming in, and the locals aren't willing to pay $40-$50 for 2 beers and some chicken tendies, because now the bartender is getting paid, $15-$20 an hour, whatever it is, those places are going to have to close their doors and trim their hours and trim their staff.
Yeah, or straight up become seasonal. What happened to you, Drew? There we go.
So, pick your poison, man. But at the end of the day, there's this raising this minimum wage thing. And if you look at the states that have done it, it's all West Coast states that people are like fleeing from. It's no states that anybody wants to move to. California being the number one.
Bleeding money, they're bleeding population.
There's people moving out of those states at a rate you can measure by the minute. But yeah, let's keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, states that in the past people flocked to. In droves. Now they're leaving in droves.
Yep, but that's my bit on question 5. I just had to get that off my chest because I did get into some fairly heated debates with some people on Facebook over the last couple of days about it.
I have not seen any single person on my social media friends list say that they're in favor of question 5.
I've only seen 1 or 2, and they're getting all their information from Reddit. So again, that tells you everything you need to know. But and one of them did say like, no, I'm voting yes because fuck the front of the house staff. They make too much fucking money. They don't work as hard as we do in the back, and that needs to change. It's like, okay, well, you could increase your skill level and demand a higher salary.
Exactly, I agree.
Instead of dragging everyone else down with you, why don't you pull yourself up?
Yeah, I think
isn't that how capitalism works?
I think the difference in pay and structure of the two is what is fair for the service industry currently. And like you said, if you working back and you want to make more, up your skill level. It's a skill issue, bro, now. Like, get good, make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can try your hand at the front of house. See if you like that better.
And if you can't hack it out there, then oh well, bro. Listen, it's not for everybody. I'll be the first one to tell you. Seen people come from the back of the house and try the front of the house, and they're like, fuck this.
Yep.
And they're like, I don't know how you do it. But there's an ass for every seat, and there's a skill for every single thing out there. And some people got it, some people don't. Contrary to popular belief, not all of us were created equal. So, yeah, like get fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Maybe working in the restaurant, maybe in the back of the house, maybe that's maybe that's not your true calling. Maybe you should go find something that pays you better. I don't know.
Yeah, a better hourly rate, and you're doing something, at least physically wise, similar.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of jobs out there, man. Plenty of jobs.
You can get an office job that might even pay more than that.
Oh yeah, but they all drug test and they want to check to see if I have any fucking, my criminal record. It's like, well,
that's also kind of on you.
That's kind of part of it. And yeah, there's this new thing called accountability. Might have heard of it.
Don't do drugs. Okay.
I mean, or do, and just, but be upfront and honest about it and just know that it disqualifies you from certain things. Granted, I don't think certain drugs should disqualify anybody from anything, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yep. I agree.
But I digest.
Mm.
But yes, thank you for letting me rant about ballot 5, the question 5 on the ballot, because I needed to get that out there.
Again, I might not have been front of house, but I understand, having worked in restaurants before at the very least, and being friends with the staff, the wait staff.
I will say this. At one point when I was a kid, I worked at New Bedford Yacht Club, and I started there as a freshman in high school. And I think it was around my sophomore, junior year. So going into junior year, because so it was pre 9/11. So it was the summer of 2001. So I was 16 years old. And the Buzzards Bay Regatta came in, and anybody from this area that knows anything about sailing and the yacht club and knows that the BBR is a massive event for the village. Hundreds of people, thousands of people come from all over the country to race in this thing every other year.
Kind of retarded how many people are there during that.
It's insane.
Considering how the area.
We had the BBR, and because the BBR was at the country club that year, the dining room was only open for a select couple hours because it's a yacht club, so it's for members only. So all these out-of-towners can't just go up to the restaurant and eat. So what they did is for all the other people, they set up a buffet outside, and the restaurant staff would staff the buffet lines. And I'm running, trays up and down 3 flights of stairs, to bring all this shit, the hot trays down to keep the buffet full. And I'm 16 years old. I'm making $6.50 an hour, whatever, minimum wage.
Yep.
And I'm busting my fucking ass all day. Meanwhile, the waitresses are all bitching because they're only making $15 an hour flat rate because they weren't getting any tips. So they're making $15 an hour, and I'm sitting there going, "You're getting paid $15 an hour?" I'm like, all y'all are just standing around. Because the buffet was not a big hit. It wasn't like there was tons of people going to it. They would go there, they'd take a couple pieces of chicken. Here you go. Here's some corn. And then they would stand around for 3 hours.
You effectively are the wait staff there because you're the one bringing and bussing.
Exactly.
The waitresses, in that case, are they even taking any dirty dishes back?
They're
not bringing anything to anybody.
They weren't bringing it. There was a few that were trying to help out, but they were dainty little girls. They were all upper middle class girls that they were whoa, I am above that. Yeah. Sorry, not doing that. That's for the kitchen staff to do. And of course, the kitchen staff, they volunteered us to do it against our will, but it was our job, so we did it. And I remember bitching to the chef in my at the time and telling him, being like, "Yo, can you tell these broads to shut the fuck up about their 15 fucking bucks an hour? Because I'm over here busting my fucking tits. It's 90 degrees out in August. I'm running up and down stairs all day, busting my ass for $6.50 an hour, and they're complaining about $15 an hour. Go fuck yourself."
And they're standing around doing nothing, making more than double what I am right now.
And you know what? And that was the first and last time I ever complained about someone making more money than me. Because you know what my boss told me?
What's that?
Well, if you want to make that kind of money, apply to work in the front of the house next summer, and you can make that or more. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "That's how it works, dude. Suck it up." They're like, "Yeah, we didn't want to do, it's not ideal for anybody." They're like, "I get it. Maybe they shouldn't be bitching about how much money they're not making right now in front of other people, because that should be kind of kept quiet, I guess, maybe. But at the end of the day, who fucking cares? It's not my business."
Yeah.
And they basically told me "Nah, dude, this is how it works. You better learn to you better figure it out, bro.
Yeah,
people are going to do
this isn't, the industry for you.
They're you're going to find a lot in life that people who do a lot less work than you get paid a lot more. So better learn that lesson now." And I was like, "Huh." And I was like, "Yeah, that is kind of a commie thing for me to say, huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, I get why you're upset, but also this is the job you chose to do. So this is it. If you don't like it, you're free to leave and go find something else."
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, "Fuck, you're right. Okay, damn it." So I shut my mouth, put myself back in my place, and
lesson learned.
Kept fucking busting my ass for $6 an hour.
But you learned.
It was a lesson I had to learn early. And if you want to make more money, you have to bring something to the fucking table. They don't just give you money for no reason.
Exactly. Prove your worth.
Unless you are on OnlyFans.
Hey, you know what? You're still working with what you got. Is it respectable? I don't think so. But, but if I was a hot, Latina with big breasts and a fat ass, in my prime, would I decide to become an entrepreneur in that sense? Maybe.
I mean, it would be tough when you see how much money they're making, and I'm glad. And this will be. We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up with this topic because this is a this one's kind of funny. I think it's a good way to go out.
Sure.
We were talking earlier about, so there was basically OnlyFans has created a generation's worth of, let's just call it what it is, porn stars.
Yeah.
Like it is introduced
as grassroots porn star as you could be. Because when
Yes.
we were growing up, you had to be signed to a studio.
Well, you had to pay a premium for those amateur videos.
Yeah.
Those are hard to find.
But I mean, as far as the stars, like, you weren't filming yourself doing things and putting it up on the internet. You had to have some kind of representation, one way or another, or you worked for a company that did it. Now it's totally up to you. Which, hey, free market. If you got the goods and you want to deliver a product,
there's an ass for every seat, man.
Exactly. So I'm not knocking sex work. Now, would I date one of these women? No. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it being a thing, okay. I'm fine with it because at least they're making money. Now, I know they got mad a while, not even that long ago, really, about being taxed finally. And they're like, what's this? And it's like, well, I mean...
Well, you want it to be a legitimate profession, so
right?
Welcome to that.
And if you do want to be, do you consider it your actual profession? Will you put it on a future resume should you decide to, pursue more traditional work? I didn't want to say more legitimate work, but out in the
well,
workforce,
it's legitimate work. It just depends on who you ask. And the reason why we bring this up and the whole thing is because it's created this, like you said, this grassroots porn star movement where you have these young females that just get on, and it's like I go through Instagram every day, right? And I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and there's some 19, 20, 21-year-old girl shaking her ass in some costume or whatever. And you click on the profile and it's like, link to my OF, link to my, here's all my links, here's all my links, here's all my links.
It's a link tree usually, yeah.
Yep, and they all link back to the same type of stuff. And of course, the content is much more explicit when you click on those links. Not that I've ever clicked on them because I'm not a simp and I won't pay for that. But
yeah, there's you want to see naked women or men, whatever you're into on the internet, it's already there for free for the most part.
It's the one thing Reddit is still useful for. I'll give it that. But the reason we brought this up was because I was reading this. I kept seeing this article pop up, and it was Riley Reid, who is she's a monster popular porn star from the.
Joking, of course. Yeah.
Well, for those that don't know, because I know like some people might not know the names. Most of us, they might not know the names, but they definitely know the faces. And it's like, they get that looking up at you puppy dog eyes look. You're like, oh yeah, her, right? Yes. How could I forget
that one?
That one, right? Oh, I know this video. Oh, I recognize that couch.
I understand that meme somehow.
Yeah. So she recently, I think it was like 3 years ago, 2021, she got married and she ended up having a kid, and she has a daughter now. And this thing kept popping up about how her and another former colleague of hers, Lana Rhodes, want all their videos scrubbed from the internet. And I'm like, okay, like I get they're probably not the smartest people on earth, but they can't possibly think that's how the internet works. So I started doing a little bit of digging. And this whole thing came from an interview that Lana Rhodes did on a podcast. I believe it was on her podcast. 3 Girls in a Kitchen, I think is the name of it.
Really? That's the name she went with?
Yeah. I mean, I like it because, kind of the play on 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Yeah, but also just stay in the kitchen, you 3 women?
Yeah.
Like, she didn't think about that either?
Maybe she longs to be a homemaker, like that big evil mansplaining dickhead Harrison Butker said,
Shit, I should have been a trad wife this whole time. What have
I
done?
know.
My asshole has been obliterated.
Now that I have a prolapsed anus and, but she explained that, she wishes she could go back. She's like, if I own the rights to all of my stuff, I would delete it all. She's like, I would get rid of all of it. She's like, I don't own the rights to most of my stuff, so that's never going to happen.
Yeah, having buyer's remorse.
Yeah. So because now they find and her and Riley Reid have been pretty open about it through interviews in their podcasts and things like that. They don't do porn anymore. They don't do guy on guy porn, girl on guy porn. They just do they'll do their OnlyFans because they can still make a shit ton of money just off the name recognition, like you had said. And they just, I think Riley Reid is doing girl on girl stuff, and that's it. And she's like, I can't take away, I can't undo what I did.
But I wish I could.
The
hindsight. But you wouldn't be where you are right now had you not.
But I think at the end of the day, and especially if you talk to Lana Rhoades, I think it was Lana Rhoades said she had maybe at the end of her career, this is after being inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame and winning all these awards.
Yeah, she's not even 30 yet.
She's 33 now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or 31. She's very young.
In preparation for this, I did watch a recent video about her, and I think it said she was born in 96.
Okay, so then it's Riley Reid that's 31.
Yeah, I believe Riley Reid is old. Yes.
Yeah, because Riley Reid came before Lana Rhoades.
The video I watched was about Lana Rhoades.
Yeah. So she had basically she chronicled kind of her career, and she was I made money doing it. She's but it depended on how much how far you were willing to go was how much they were willing to pay you. And she's I had $100,000 saved up by the time I was done, which you would think from being that popular of a star would be she'd have a lot more than that. And you're and she's was it really worth it? She's I can't go date people. Everybody looks at me and they know exactly who I am.
Scarlet letter on you, essentially.
Yeah, and it's it's an albatross around your neck that you can't get off. And she's I would take it all back if I could. And the scene, I won't describe the scene that made her quit porn. But if you want to read about it or go look up Lana Rhoades and what made her quit the adult film industry, it's pretty vile and disgusting. And I'm I have no interest in seeing it. Definitely not up my alley. But this is the kind of stuff that these girls had to do in order to make money. And then they're just broken individuals that can't get they can't get they can't have a real normal life afterwards.
I mean, they can try. Mia Khalifa certainly has tried. She has a podcast. I don't know how it is. I don't know what.
She's kind of an insufferable cunt, though, so that doesn't surprise me.
She's also that type. I watched a video on her a couple months ago. It's basically analysis of their career and what have you, without getting too sordid because it is just on YouTube. But they get into as much detail as they can without being banned or demonetized one way or another. But yeah, she embellished a lot about the career. She made it seem a lot worse than it was, time-wise. And you go back and you now a lot of these people that run these companies are also unscrupulous, but they at least had the paperwork to back up. No, she was only on contract for 3 months.
Yeah.
And she was paid this amount of money, but she's saying she was paid far less and given a worse offer. And it's no, here's the goddamn pay stub and everything.
Yeah, it's here's the tax information. Here's what we paid her. This is all filed and done. Yeah, I'm sure she'll they'll lie about it, especially because they probably feel she probably feels she could make more money being a victim of it at this point and talking about what a victim she was.
I think they're all doing that to an extent. I think she's a little bit more, for lack of a better term, greasy about it. It just seems
yeah, she has an angle.
Yeah.
Because when I read the articles I read about Riley Reid, it legitimately seems like she wishes she could just go back, erase it all, and just live a normal life. Mm-hmm. Lana Rhoades, I feel kind of the same thing. She's I would not do it all again. Money or not, fame, whatever, wouldn't do it again. Mia Khalifa, I feel she's the one that she's I'd do it again and again and again and again and again. And that's it. That's what got her. I mean, because the only reason Mia Khalifa is even popular is because of that.
Yeah.
Not to say that these other girls weren't, but you could parlay that into something down the road. Now, Mia Khalifa doesn't exactly strike me as the type that's going to be craving having like a home and a family and, longing for all this stuff. But the reason I brought this up to begin with is because at some point, all these girls, and this is the Lana Rhoades, Riley Reeds were like kind of a microcosm, I think, of what is actually happening in society now with OnlyFans.
Well,
like these girls
they didn't
that
get
go
their
on
start in that either. They were legitimate porn stars where
Correct.
OnlyFans gives the opportunity to anyone to have a platform that is it's a spread and it's monetized from day one. You set the rate, and you create your own content. But
yeah. And I just think, where does it go from here? Because now you have these like 18, 19, 20-year-old girls who are in, late in high school, early in college, unemployed, whatever, and they're doing this OnlyFans work and they're making all this money. At what point is it going to hit them that like their history and what they've done on camera, like guys are going to judge you for that? You know what I mean? Like no matter how good looking you are when you're 22, 23, 24, when you're 34 and you got a body count of, 1,500 and 1,100 of those are on film.
Yeah, for every
there's
one.
I can't exactly be like, can't exactly see many guys being like, Mom, Dad, I'd like you to meet so-and-so. I really think she's the one. Her gag reflex is non-existent. Having sex with her is like having sex with a warm bowl of water, but we get through. We have other ways.
Damn it.
I hope these girls that are doing these OnlyFans thing, and this is because I think it's going to be a much bigger issue in the next 10 to 15 years than people realize, that these girls need to listen to these girls like the Riley Reeds and the Lana Rhoades of the world.
Cautionary
and like
tales, yes.
Yeah, don't do it, man. Like you might think it's cheap, easy money, or it's quick, easy money, and you might be able to make a few bucks and not show anything or do anything too crazy, but like that's gonna die out. Like, and the more crazy shit you do, like the internet is forever. You can't undo it. It's going to be there forever. So
somebody somewhere along let's say hypothetically all of Riley Reid and Lana Rhoades' content was scrubbed like overnight. That still exists on countless hard drives.
Yeah, somebody's got a copy of it. Like you can't get rid of it. Someone's got a copy of it. I mean, I probably have a copy of it on my fucking phone somewhere, for Christ's sakes, that I, accidentally saved or didn't accidentally save, just saved.
It's truly never going to go away unless we have a catastrophic solar flare that completely wipes out our,
because even and that would have to be worldwide, because there's some dude in fucking Bangkok right now that's got thousands of hours of every video ever. He's still got he's still got all the old videos too. Mm-hmm. So. He's like, oh yeah, I got Tara Patrick's first film, and you're like, damn, I pay good money for that right now. Shit.
Oh, gee, is that
it takes me back.
4K upscale? Like,
yeah, right. Like, dude, that was some OG shit. That was like Spice Channel,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So like,
Vivid
but
video.
like, yeah. But I feel like these girls these days that are doing this OnlyFans thing and this Riley Reid thing, like it all kind of comes full circle because, and I guess it comes back to us too, like. Like you said, like, do you blame him for doing it? No. Would you want to date one? Also, probably not. But is it going to get to a point where it's so hard to find somebody that hasn't done something on OnlyFans that you're going to be like, oh, yeah, like she did some OnlyFans work, but she doesn't do it anymore. But like who hasn't?
Look, Mom, Dad, she didn't do anything hardcore. She just sat and farted on cakes.
Dude, I actually just watched one of a girl sitting on cakes the other day. Like, she makes wicked dope looking cakes. Like, she's a baker, makes fire, like professional grade, like high quality cakes, and then just sits on it. And that's her shtick. Not naked. She has like gym shorts on and just sits on the cake. And I remember the original Cake Farts video. Like, that was funny. But like, I didn't think 20 years later somebody would actually be doing that and making fucking a legitimate, more than I do a year on it.
Yeah. Or selling like, farts in a jar, or their bath water, or any other bizarre thing and because of the internet, now they have all these simps that are just
Well, that's-
willing to pay
And that's the other
whatever
that's the other part of it. Like, shame on men for actually contributing to
We're
this too.
terrible when it comes to this.
We really are. Like, we are just as much to blame in this, I feel like, as the females are,
we
because the
funded
females
it.
the females are providing a service. We are the ones demanding said service. So
We cannot be
Ugh.
mad at the baker who
Yeah,
makes
like,
amazing cakes and then
Listen.
sits and farts on him when she can
Yeah.
make money off of it. We need to, take a
Ye-
look at the mirror and
I
say, why
can't be
am I
mad at the-
paying money for somebody to do this?
you can't be mad at the baker when you get diabetes. Like, it's you have to have some self-control. Like, but it's such a weird, like, kind of situation where you have these young girls, these young females that are putting themselves out there on all these different platforms, and they all seemingly kind of, for the most part, at least understand that, like, looks are fleeting, and they're like, well, I'm just going to cash in now,
Yeah.
and then I'll figure out, like, oh, I don't want kids anyway, or I don't care if I get married. It's not really on my thing. It's like, all right, you say that now, but as a cautionary tale, like, maybe talk to some people that have been down the road you're going down already and listen to what they have to say, because it seems to be pretty contrasting.
Yeah, and at this point, you don't even have to talk to those people directly. You can look up interviews of them and what they have to say about it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, they just couldn't handle it, or they couldn't hack it. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, not a lot of them can. And when you get reduced down to just literally being a fuck doll, and that's all anybody sees. Like, I remember one of the things I read from one of the Riley Reid articles was, she was like, dating was super hard because everybody knew, like, they recognized it. They only knew me as Riley. She's like, I had to, like, literally explain to people, my name's not Riley, it's Ashley. Like, and they kept calling me Riley. And it's like, that's my stage name. That's not me. And she's like, it made it super fucking difficult. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's true too. Like,
well, because to them, that is the reality. You are just that. You are that stage name. You are that persona. They don't.
Yeah, because as far as that guy's concerned, it was you, the guy or guys you were banging, and him in the room, and that was it. It's a pretty intimate setting,
Mhm.
So that's all he knows you as.
Yeah, because that's the only content of you that exists up to this point, other than these interviews. Because you're a public figure, but that's your work. Nobody's you're not a Hollywood actor or actress.
Right. It's not like if you if like I'm trying to think of who had, like, a good stage name in Hollywood. Like, let's just say hypothetically, like, Jim Carrey's name was actually, like, Phil Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people kept calling him Jim Carrey. It's like, okay, but that's something to be proud of. You're funny. He's like, oh, hi, but mine is actually Phil. It's like, wait, huh? Like, all right, hold on. This is going to take me a minute to get used to, because I've only ever known you as this. But
Yeah.
I also wasn't jerking off to you, so that's different.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But-
like in the world of comedy too, there are characters like Andrew Dice Clay is a persona. Larry
Right.
the Cable Guy are personas. That isn't those real
Yes.
guys' names. That's their shtick.
Right.
But that's also that you're also not seeing either of them, rail or get railed on stage or something.
It's a little different when somebody's putting on an act to make you laugh versus somebody's putting on an act to make you bust a nut. Like,
Yes.
I mean, that's the end of the day. It's what it comes down to. And I just think, like, this, society is devolving to a point now. And, like, I don't know how to save it, because when you look at, like, the fabric of America and the things that we stand for, like, yeah, we have all, like, everybody's got addictions. Everybody's got demons in their closet. Like, nobody's perfect. Like, believe me, I'm sure we could all name 1,000 different examples of somebody we know, or even ourselves, that did something that, like, nobody else really knows about. We're kind of glad it's that way.
Yep.
But at what point do we get to in this society where, like, where you just have to, like, become, like, so accepting to the part that, like, yeah, the mother of your children was a sex worker for 10 years. And
that's a point in the Lana Rhoades story. Like, her son is, some of the comments on on the video were like, oh yeah, he was basically born into like epic legendary difficulty mode on Dark Souls or whatever, like that equivalent. Like,
pretty much.
at that point in her
It's a
career and
great
life,
fucking way to put it too.
Yeah, like, oh, this kid he was just dealt the worst fucking.
Anybody who's ever played Dark Souls or watched anyone play it knows that legendary mode is fucking impossible.
Even just on normal. I mean, that's how those games are made.
Yeah, they're supposed to be that hard.
Yeah, get good. That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's it's the
Stop
enjoyment
sucking.
of overcoming this, seemingly impossibly hard encounter.
Yeah, and it's hard for the sake of being hard, and deal with it.
Yeah, and so I think that.
Boy, there is a
analogy-
lot of innuendos flying around right now. But yeah,
absolutely. But I mean, it makes sense given the
this is the topic at hand.
topic at hand, and yes, the context. But I saw more than one comment saying basically that same thing, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty bleak. And
Yeah, I
I
mean-
don't want to have to get into all that right now, but yeah,
Like it's bad enough. It's bad enough in a lot of ways. Like if you're like dating a girl, and then like you run into her ex somewhere, and it's like, how's my dick taste, bro? Like okay, like dickhead thing to say. Also, like I get it. Like she had sex before she met me.
Oh,
like
no.
okay, oh no. But at the same time, it's like, damn it, like fuck you, like, and then, but like, how do you take that and then multiply it by like 150 to 1,000, like whatever,
Yeah,
like
depending on the how many
yeah, like
their career.
like it's like there was because like I remember somebody like one of the I forget who it was a porn star. I don't think it was Riley Reid, but like she was out with her husband and like they ran into a guy who like used to work with her, and he was like, oh yeah, her pussy was fire, bro. Yeah, it fell off at the end after a while, but man, I remember we first got her when she was brand new. Oh man, that thing was great. This, that, and it's like,
basically,
oh, hi, I'm her
apologizing,
husband.
Like, sorry, bro.
yeah, like it's like, damn, dude, like it. I mean, it takes a special kind of simp to fucking like process that and deal with it. And I just don't know that I could do it. Like as a man, I don't know I could do it. But I feel like when you look around at like the Harry Sissons of the world and like all these like YouTube commenters and all these like soy boy beta males who are like, no, sex work is real work. Like that's so fine if you want to do that. It's like those are the guys that are going to be the ones that are marrying these broads
Yeah.
and providing for them. Well, and I'm like, dude, like you're a fucking like I have no respect for you as a man.
Yeah.
And then the other side of me also wants to be like, all right, like let's say Riley Reid decides like I'm retired, I'm done with that, I want to move on and go have a normal life. Like, is she entitled to having a normal life after that? Like, maybe should we be a little bit more open to the idea of being like, hey, maybe we shouldn't judge her so hard. She did provide us with 10 years worth of joy and entertainment. That maybe we should give her like a little bit of a pass here. But I don't know, easy for me to say when I'm not the one trying to like,
yeah. Well, some
trying to be with
people
her.
Won't be able to let that go. They'll be the the overzealous
The white knights.
them, but then on the other side of the coin, the guys that are like, oh well, fuck no, actually fuck her. Like she knew what she was doing. She wasn't held at gunpoint. No, we should basically slut shame her. I think it's a middle road approach to it. It's fine. Like let them live the way they want to live, but I mean, we can reserve judgment to them based on their actions and their words, how they handle it. To me, it sounds like Riley's handling it better than somebody like Mia Khalifa is right now.
Yeah, because Mia Khalifa sounds like she's just trying to play the victim and still cash in off of it, where Riley Reid just like, I just want to be left alone.
Yeah, like
I
here's
want-
my story. I wish I didn't do it, but it is what it is.
But
I
then
just
again,
wanna live my life.
not for nothing either, though. Riley Reid is still doing girl on girl stuff. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess but she's doing it on her OnlyFans. She's making more money than she ever made in the actual porn industry.
and she truly gets to decide what she does and doesn't do. So
Yeah, she's her own boss now, thanks to that medium. So I guess in that way, it's OnlyFans is a good thing because now you don't have girls having to do the shit that Lana Rhoades had to do in order to make money.
it's far less predatory.
But,
I mean, I'm sure there
yeah.
are people out there. I mean, I've already seen, like, I'm not on that website, but like on Facebook, people making posts of saying it was actually like an ad, a sponsored ad of like a guy or a marketing company that will basically take in these women that want to start OnlyFans pages that don't have any notoriety yet. And
Yep.
basically, oh, you'll work under me. I'll market you. I'm your PR.
And it
I said,
begins.
and
So
I'm getting a cut, obviously.
you're just a modern day pimp, sir.
Exactly. A digital pimp.
Yeah, just get yourself a cane and a nice fur coat, and may as well lean all the way into it.
Yep. Come up with a nice nickname.
Yeah, I mean,
Corn
but that's the
dog
thing. It's
sake,
like
but-
it's such like I get like the middle road approach to it, And again, I'm not the one that's going to have to deal with it. But like, I think back to like when we were in high school, and it's like if you dated a chick that like somebody had already smashed, like, dude, like you were kind of like people would kind of call you a bitch.
And yeah,
Like,
this was within a microcosm of your school.
Yeah,
In
and
our,
like that small thing.
region.
Now imagine like you got to go to school and your sister has an OnlyFans. Like imagine you like it's bad enough if you're in high school and your sister's hot and she's in the same school as you. You get ridden for it non-fucking stop.
Yep.
While all your boys are trying to ride your sister.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And then on the other flip side, now imagine if like she has an OnlyFans. And it's just like you walk in, you're like, da, 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 hey, what's up, Zach? Just jerked off to your sister. How's she doing? Good? All right, cool. Like, dude, that would fucking, like, I would lose my shit.
Or even worse, the case of moms having OnlyFans.
Oh, my God, dude.
The mom that would pick up and drop off their kid at school in a car that basically had wraps of, or like at least stickers of it with promoting her OnlyFans page.
Facts.
Like explicitly saying, oh, this is my OnlyFans. And
like,
you know what is on there.
Like, all right, sweetie, mommy's off to work. Bye.
Yeah,
You're
she's
like,
not selling her cooking recipes and like, instructional videos on that.
She's not pushing Tupperware or Pampered Chef, bro.
No.
like it's like it kills me because you fucking look at that and you're like, it's like, Mom, can we not take the company car to school? She's like, oh no, honey, gotta advertise. It's like, who are you advertising to? Well, your friends, sweetie. They all have their mom's credit cards. So
yeah,
if you want new shoes for the start of the school year, you better tell your friends to sign up. It's like, damn it, Mom. Dude, I don't.
Wearing like tube tops and mini skirts to their sporting events, probably.
And dude, like, imagine having to sit there and suffer through a school year. Like, and like your friends are like in the back of the class with their cell phone watching your mom on OnlyFans.
They can look at it at any time.
Yeah, and like they're at the lunch table and they're like, dude, you want to see what your mom's doing? They're like, no, I don't want to see what my mom's doing, you dicks. And like even your friends like would probably get on you for it. Like,
no, I know not to bother her when she's at work. Like,
yeah. She told me to use this number for emergencies only.
Yeah.
The office has her real cell phone number, but I'm not allowed to have that one.
Yeah. No, that's got to be like, one of the worst things imaginable, I think.
Because like even like no amount of money, like it doesn't matter, dude. Like you could be getting like the dopest shit for Christmas and your birthday and like bought for you all the time. Like if one of your like the kid that you hated the most in high school is just gonna come up to you and be like, yo, dude, just jerked off to your mom, like think she could fit me in her schedule next week. I want to bang her.
Yeah.
Like, and meanwhile, there's probably an option for that in the app. Like, yep, for a certain price, we can do private, in one-on-one consultations. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Now the kid that's been bullying me is gonna bang my mom too. Like,
she's got a special dude, bro. I think I got a chance. She does dick ratings, and she gave me like a 7.
Yeah, like that's pretty good, right? Good. I mean, for a sophomore in high school, I think that's pretty good. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, dude, I pity the people that have to go through that. The kids that didn't choose to do it or deal with it, and just that their moms or sisters or whatever chose that life, and like that's how they chose to make their money. It's like, at least like if your mom was a stripper, like your buddy's dad might know about it.
Yeah,
but your buddy didn't. Like your buddy didn't know because he wasn't old enough to get in yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you would just like pray to God, like, oh, please, by the fucking time I'm old enough to go to the strip club, please be retired. Like, Please stop working there. The last thing I need is like my friends going to the fucking, Foxy Brockton and getting a lap dance from my mom. Like, what the fuck? It's bad enough when you see people that you knew from high school working at the Foxy in Brockton. And you're like, oh, well, this could get awkward, and then it does.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's really funny. And then you continue on the bachelor party like nothing happened. But I can promise you that person that I knew that was working there did not forget about it.
I'm sure they didn't. Yeah.
No, that was a funny story. I can't tell on the air because that would be exposing too many names and too many people to too many different things, and can't do that. But it was funny. I promise you that.
Yeah, but we can talk off air about that sometime.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you the story in person for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's not that big a deal. You trust me. All the characters. So, but it would
after all. But
yeah, it would kill me to have to sit there and think that like, holy shit, like my mom's doing OnlyFans right now. Like, what's her name? Like Drea De Matteo, the from The Sopranos.
Yes.
She was Tony's like call girl in The Sopranos, and then she was,
Yeah, she was
Jax's girlfriend
was,
in Sons.
Yeah, she was Christopher's chick.
Yeah, she does OnlyFans now
Yes.
and makes a fucking killing.
Mhm.
And she's like, and like, your kids are okay with this? She's like, it puts food on my kids' table. They don't care. It's not their business.
I think one of her sons like helps take pictures of her.
I think so too. He's like, yeah, they're actually involved. And I'm like, oh my God, that is kind of fucking weird, dude. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be down with that.
It's one thing to be okay with it as their, in this case, son or child, and whether son or daughter. I believe it's their son. It's another to be like, yeah, that directly involved with it. Other than, behind the scenes, like, oh, I'll help run the finance part of it, but I'm not holding the camera while you fucking diddle yourself, Mom. Like,
yeah, like that's, and like it's like, okay, we gotta get these panties packaged up and sent out. Here's the people that purchased like used panties. Like, ew.
Yeah, no.
Like, because that's the real thing, and like it's just like, dude, nah. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, and like you listen to, like I said, to come full circle on it, like you listen to Riley Reid and Lana Rhoades and the regrets that they have, and I'm sure they're, for those two, like as successful as they were, I wonder how much regret the ones that weren't successful have. Yeah. Because like I know a story of people that you don't know, and I don't know the people involved in the story, but one of this kid I know's cousin did like a casting couch porno. And it was like the title of the video was called like A Fresh Face to Fuck. And
of course.
And it was this girl who was my buddy's cousin. And he's like, yeah, now she's married, has 2 kids, and like her husband has no idea she did this video.
Well, because it was a one and done sort of thing.
It was a one and done, but like we all watched it, like we found it. You know what I mean? Like,
you were made aware of it.
Yeah, like I'm like, damn, dude, that sucks. Like, and there was like that, nothing left of the imagination. Like it was a high quality production, if you will.
Disgusting. And where is
it? Yeah. I need to look for science.
Yeah, for research purposes.
Yeah, research purposes. I'll need to see this link. Like it wasn't like, but it's just like, dude, like I wonder how many girls there are like that out there that have 10 times the amount of regret because they made 1/1000th of the money that those two did.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, well, for every Riley Reid, there's
probably 1,000 that
other
didn't make it.
That don't make that kind of notoriety, whether they make one video or 100 more themselves. They just don't gain.
Or they do it. They do the one casting video, make their $1,500, pay their rent, and never come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but that's still up. Like I can still go on RedTube and find that. So
yeah, it's not as easily,
you can't run from it.
It's it's harder to find because this is the only one video. But if I know what, handle
but if I'm just
going by,
if I'm just casually browsing through a video and it pops up on my suggested videos for the day on the top, like, whoops, hey, I know that girl. Click.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's fucking wild, but. All right, I guess we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we're just over the 2-hour mark. I think that's a good place to.
Yeah, well, we have to make up for last week, so.
Yeah, no, that's always good. And I don't think we got off on too many tangents. It's pretty well.
It was pretty straightforward tonight. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Same as always, brother. So yeah, we'll be back next week, and then the following week.
We'll have to figure out what we want to do for election night. If we want to do, because we won't be able to like cover the whole thing. But I feel like we should
be able to watch, like, because when do the polls close? At like 8, 9 Eastern?
On Eastern time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't really get a good idea probably closer to midnight, I would think.
Midnight, 1 a.m. is when we'll start to, like, I mean, unless it's over before then, which it has been in certain.
I mean, what we could do is have it maybe start it, around the same time, maybe a little later, and just, go over.
See how it goes.
We can go over topics. We can keep an eye on things as they progress throughout the night. And
I'm down for that.
From there, and be like, oh well, this is now changed and something like that. But to mix it up a little, we can be speaking on other things while that's happening, because it's not doing a play-by-play of like.
Yeah, like this is happening now. This is happening now. Like,
we're not political, and like that's not our.
Yeah, we don't have the insight to be able to do that.
But we will have it be a feature. We can put it that way.
Yeah, we can do that.
Week, I think, we'll be on Tuesday that week.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Yeah, I think row 1, seat 1 will either be we'll either not have a show that week or we'll be on Monday. So
okay,
stay tuned. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure out the time, but it will be November 5th.
And then we will have VDJT Day on Wednesday. It'll be glorious.
God willing.
God willing, and the creek don't rise. Because you know those water pipes in Atlanta, they're fucking leaky on election night.
Yep. Such is the way of the world. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's always been. As we.
Yeah, indeed.
But yep.
But Trav, good shit, man. All right, bud. Well, I'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, Joe. Peace out.
All
brother.
right. Thanks for everybody.